What if you could automate your most repetitive tasks in less than 30 minutes? Let me show you exactly how to do that. Today we are building 5 practical n8n workflows. We will set up Gmail to Slack notifications for a billing team. We will also automate client onboarding forms that fill spreadsheets automatically. Another one that gets RSS security news sent straight to Telegram. Again, another one who saves your X post that you like into Notion. And the final one that receives daily weather forecasts in your inbox. My name is Melik and I use n8n on a daily basis for my personal and business life also. And I made these workflows as simple as possible, so they are super beginner friendly and incredibly useful, so let's dive in. Okay, our first workflow handles billing email notifications. Here's what we are building today. It's a Gmail trigger connected directly to Slack, and it's really simple. Every time an email arrives in the inbox, the team gets notified in Slack instantly. Let me show you how this works in real time. So I sent a test invoice email, as you can see right there. So the subject is "This is a test," and the body says, "Hi Melik, I'm a test invoice email. Hope you are having a great day." So we are gonna execute the workflow and see what it does. There we go. You can see that the 2 nodes were validated. And if we head into Slack, you can see that the notification appeared in the billing team channel right there with every details we wanted. So the sender's email, the subject line, and also the full body of the message. Now let's build this from scratch together. I'm starting with a blank canvas here in n8n. The first thing we need to do is click on the plus button and search for the Gmail trigger. So Gmail, go ahead and add that node on message received. And this is what we get. Now we need to connect our Gmail account. The first thing to do is click on create new credential and you will see the Gmail OAuth option right there, OAuth 2, and also another one called service account. Okay, before we continue, let me explain what OAuth means and what it does, especially for those who aren't familiar with them. OAuth is basically a secure way for an application to access another application on your behalf without you having to give away your password. So you have to think of it like giving a valet key to a parking attendant. Okay, the key lets them park your car, but they can't open the trunk or the glove compartment. OAuth works the same way. You are giving n8n permission to access your Gmail, but you are not giving n8n your Gmail password. Google handles all the security and you can revoke the access whenever you want. Now, n8n gives 2 ways to authenticate to Google services. You can either set up your own OAuth app with Google Cloud Console, or you can use the n8n's pre-built OAuth method. For this workflow, we are using n8n's pre-built OAuth method. Okay, it's the OAuth 2, the recommended one that you can see on the screen, which is much simpler. When you use this method, n8n has already done all the heavy lifting for you. They've registered an OAuth application to Google, enabled all the necessary APIs, and configured everything properly. This means you can connect to Gmail in literally 2 clicks without touching Google Cloud Console at all. Actually, this is perfect for getting started quickly and also for personal use. So yeah, the pre-built method handles all the complexity behind the scenes, and you just click on connect my account, authorize n8n to access your Gmail, and you're done. So let me show you. So click on sign in with Google. Okay, this will open a window where you select your Google account. You will see that the app is made by n8n with the logo right there, and to continue to n8n Cloud. That's their pre-built OAuth app that I talked about earlier. So you grant n8n permission to read your emails. Once that's done, you click on Save Credentials. We're gonna do this. Hop. I want to allow n8n ongoing access to the Google account data that I'm sharing today. And you click on Continue. And the connection is successful. You can also rename it. So, I don't know, let's call it Demo OAuth. OAuth API. There we go, and you click on save and we are done. Now let's add the Slack node. So you click on the plus icon right next to the Gmail trigger and you search for Slack. There we go. You have many options there. The one that interests us is send a message. Once you are on this window, the first thing to do here, again, just like for Gmail, is to use the n8n pre-built OAuth method, but this time for Slack. So this actually, yeah, you click on the edit node. No, sorry, not the edit node. You click on the drop down, you create new credential, and you just connect your account the same way you did for Gmail. So you see n8n.cloud is requesting permission to access the SNG Media Slack workspace, and then you can verify everything you want, click on view, etc., and click allow. Connection is successful, and then you can rename, of course, to keep it all together and organized. You can rename the authentication, so the API, Slack API. That's it, just for the demo. And click on save, and there you go. And you have just to select it in the dropdown. Okay, now in Slack, in my case, as I showed you before, I created a billing team channel. So you can create yours by clicking the plus icon. I think it's right there. Not the plus icon, it's the three dots. Click on create and a new channel will be created. Now we want to configure the node. So you basically let the resource to message, the operation to send, because what we want to do is send a message. And now we are going to configure the send message too. So instead of writing the email, okay, because if we write an email, it will not be automated, okay, and that's not what we want actually. So we are going to do a specific thing for this. Okay, now what we need to do is to configure the node. So you set the resource to message and the operation to post. Then you choose which channel you want the notifications to go to. And for me, I'm going to click on channel, and from list, okay, you just have three dots here. So in case you create the channel before creating the node, you can click on refresh list and it will actualize. So you click on the drop down and you select the channel you want to post the notifications. For my case, it's billing team. We're going to let simple text message as the message type, and we are going to focus on the message text now. So we pass it to expression, okay, because fixed it will only give us the option to write in there, but we want to use what we call JSON variables. Now for the message format, it's quite special, so you have to focus on that. So before doing this, we are going to launch the first trigger. So instead of clicking on execute workflow, you can do it step by step, so node per node. And we are going to click on the play button just above the Gmail trigger. It will execute. You see that it's validated and it stopped right before the Slack node. Click on save. So now for the Slack node, you see that we received many informations about the email, okay? So we received a snippet, okay? The snippet is like the context, okay? It's like the body. But snippet is a much smaller version of the context. So in case you have an email that's, I don't know, maybe 200 lines long, the snippet will just take few lines at the beginning and send it to you. So if you want to deactivate that, you just have to go to Gmail trigger again and deactivate simplify. I'm going to fetch test event, and then we are going to Slack node again. And then you can see that the snippet disappeared. And if you scroll down a little bit, you will have the global context. And you see it's right there. Text your light n8n to access some of your... Okay, so this is not the email we wanted, actually. So that's on me. Because we received a notification email from n8n because we authenticated into Gmail into Slack. So I'm going back into my inbox. You see that that's the Google security alert. So there is no filter actually. So in the previous video, there was a filter that said if the email has urgent in the subject, then we can continue to Slack and send the notification. In our case, there is no filter, okay? Because I just want to show you how the nodes work and how the workflow executes itself. What we are going to do is just delete the Google email and go back to n8n, go back to the Gmail trigger and fetch test event. And if we go back to Slack node, if we scroll down a little bit, you can see that's the email we wanted. So, hi Malik, I'm a test invoice email, hope you are having a great day. Okay, now we want to configure the message text. So we are going to click on expression, click on the button right here to increase the window, and we type here, and there is the output that shows on the right. So we're going to just write the template, and we will write new email arrived up, and we are going to paste just the information. So we want the sender first, we want the subject, and then we want the body. But now what we want to do is not just writing the email just like this, okay? That's not the case, because if we do that, there is no automation behind, okay? We want to write what we call a JSON variable. Let me show you what it looks like. So we want the sender. So let me just find the sender. I don't know if you can increase that. Yeah, great. I'm going to do it a little bit more. There we go. So you have the from there, but there is this string that I don't want, and you have the address. So that's the to, okay? And you have the from. Okay, so this is, okay. I will explain later what all this means, okay? Basically, it's how JSON is written, okay? The box you see here is called an object. This one is a list. This is a table. It's not quite complicated, but I think a video will need to be dedicated to that, so it can be clear to you. And no worries to have. It's really simple. It's not code. It is actually, but it's not properly code. Okay, I'm not telling you that I will teach you to write C++ or C#. It's not that complicated. Anyway, we want the from value. So what we are going to do is not, as I said, write melikc145@gmail.com, because it will only retrieve the emails from this email address. So we are going to click on address, keep it, and just drag and drop it in the sender. I'm going to reduce this window. And there we go. You can see that on the input, you have the JSON value. That maybe isn't clear for you because you don't know what it means and everything. But you can see on the right, there is the translation, if we can call it that. So basically, this value, this JSON variable, contains melikc145@gmail.com. Basically, a JSON variable is a container. Whatever the value you give it, it will retrieve it and output it for you. Okay, so if we send another email with, let's say, johndoe@gmail.com, this variable in the context of the workflow that was executed will retrieve johndoe@gmail.com and will replace melikc145 by johndoe in the sender. We want to do the same thing for the subject, so we are going to drag and drop the subject here, just up, space, and the same for the body. So you have different bodies. You have the HTML, but you can see that there is the divs, the BRs, and everything. So we want more of the clear text, and here it is, the text. There we go. And you can see that it displays a lot better in the output, in the result square. So we are going to close this. And there we go. Our message text is configured. You can also add an option, okay, just right there. You have many options, but the one that interests us is include link to workflow. When you click on it, it will show an option, and you can deactivate include link to workflow or reactivate it. Basically what it is if you keep it activated, when you go on Slack and you see the notification, the little automated with n8n workflow, okay, this is the link that we are talking about. So you can just deactivate it, execute the step. There we go. You have the output. Okay, there is a little validation here that tells you that everything was good and that the node executed itself. And this is the notification. New email arrived. sender, subject, whole body, and you don't have the automated with n8n workflow quote anymore. So that's it. We built a 2-node workflow. The Gmail trigger monitors your inbox continuously every minute, as we saw, and the Slack node sends information into a channel specifically for a certain team. And yeah, your billing team now gets instant alerts for every email that comes in, and no one has to manually check the inbox anymore. Our second workflow now automates client onboarding. When a potential client fills out the onboarding form, the information will go straight into a Google Sheets without any manual work. I will show you the form we are using, so I'm going to execute the workflow. And yeah, there it is. It has a title and a little description that you can give to the form. It has 4 fields: full name, email address, phone number, and your project. Pretty standard stuff for onboarding, actually. So let me submit a test client right now. I will just put in John Doe. Now his email address with, let's say, john@email.com. Phone number, let's say any phone number, French one, not plus. There we go. And the project, let's say website design. And you can submit it. Your response has been recorded. You can just close the window, and the workflow executed successfully. Now, when you go into the Google Sheets, you can see that there is John Doe that appeared, john@email.com, with the phone number, yes, invalid, okay, and with the description of your project. So yeah, this is exactly what we need for tracking new clients. Let me show you how to set this up. Starting with a fresh workflow, we are going to use the n8n built-in form trigger, not trigger manually, sorry, my bad. The form trigger, let's say form, n8n form, and the form trigger. As I said, we are going to use this n8n's built-in form because it's native to n8n, and quite frankly, it makes it really straightforward. This actually creates a web form that will trigger our workflow whenever someone submits it. Now we need to set up our fields. So you click on Add Field, Add Form Element. For each one we need, actually. So the first one will be, as we said before, full name. You can let it to text, placeholder. It's not mandatory, but you can also put a name on it, like as we did before, John Doe. You can make it a required field, and you can add again another element. We said email address. This one will not let it to text. We'll give it the email option, and placeholder like email.email.com as a required field too. Another one who is phone number. Text placeholder, let's say this, required field 2. Let's just add a plus. I forgot where it was on my keyboard. And the final one is the project we want the client to give us, and yeah, we are not going to write anything in there. So required field 2, everything required, and you can give it no need for authentication, okay, just to make it clear, because we are in a test URL. Basically, this URL at the top, n8n generates this automatically, okay? This is your form's not public but test URL. You can share this link with anyone, and when they fill it out, the data flows through your workflow. Okay, we are in a test environment. You can go in production too. You see that the URL changes. And just a quick note, I think the workflow needs to be active, but I'm not sure, so it needs to be verified. But yeah, anyway, you can give it a name, let's say form, and form description for the channel. Okay, so now let's execute the step and see what it does. You can see that the form appears with form and the description we gave it. So you can write Melik at gmail.com, the phone number, and then for the project we can say website design, as we said before. And then you click on submit, the form submitted. You can close the window, And then you can see in the outputs that we have every information we gave the form. Now what we want to do is add a Google Sheets node. There we go, and select append row in sheet. Why append? Because append adds new rows to the bottom without touching any existing data. Okay, so the first thing to do now is to create a new credential, as we've done before. So you click on create new credential, sign in with Google, then you have the pop-up that appears, you select the account you want. For me it will be this one, and then you click continue, and the connection is successful. Wonderful. Now you can close this one. I'm not gonna select it because my sheet is inside this account, so I'm gonna select this one, but you can use the one you've created right now. We don't change the resource, we don't change the operation, and in the document, you select from the list, okay, and you choose the sheet you created, especially for this client onboarding workflow. I'm selecting Cool Agency Onboarding. The sheet is client info, but usually it's just sheet 1. What I'm gonna do now is to map. So the full name will go in full name, just drag and drop, as simple as it is. Now I'm gonna drag and drop the email address, then the phone number, and then the project. There we go. No options is needed, you can just execute the step. The node is executing. And there we go. We have the form submitted. We have technically the row that got appended. Yeah, there we go. melik@gmail.com. The phone number, which is invalid again, and it makes me angry, but it's okay. And the project website design. Okay, now just remember that the workflow needs to be active. Okay, got it. Needs to be active for the form to be submitted and append new rows in your spreadsheets. Anyway, client onboarding is now completely automated. The form trigger captures all the details of the client, okay? And the Google Sheets just appends the data automatically to your spreadsheet. You can share that form URL, as I said to you before, with potential clients, embed it on your website or just send it via email. And yeah, the information flows directly into the spreadsheet without you ever touching it. Now, the third workflow is all about staying updated with security news. I follow the Hacker News RSS feed. That's simply every time they publish a new article, it gets sent to my Telegram instantly. So let me show you what this looks like in Telegram. So look at this notification. Fresh security news. It's an article with the title, the publication date, also a direct link, and even a content preview. So I never have to visit the website to see what's new, except when it's really interesting. So this is perfect for staying on top of cybersecurity news without like having to constantly check websites or social media. Okay, now before jumping into n8n, we need to create the bot. So this takes about 2 minutes. So the first thing to do is, of course, to open Telegram and search for bot father. Okay, you just enter bot father and you have it right there. So this is the Telegram's official bot for creating new bots. So you start a chat with it. There we go. You can write messages down there and you send the command new bot. There we go, new bot. And he asks you, how are we going to call it? Please choose a name for your bot. And I will call mine Hacker News bot. Yeah, with space maybe. There we go. Okay, now give it a username. So it has to end with the word bot. So I'm using, let's say, Hacker News feed bot. I think that will do the same. Already taken. Hacker News bot. And there we go. But further, immediately give you an API token. So this is really important. You copy this token because we are going to need it in n8n in just a minute. Now you have to find your bot. Okay, so you will find it at I can use bot. There we go. Now send any message to your bot. Okay, just say hello or anything. Okay, now that you sent any messages to your new bot just by saying hello or anything, you have to open your browser and visit the URL, the following URL, and copy paste it into your browser. And of course, make sure to replace your bot token by the token, the API token that Botfather gave you. Once it's done, you should have this kind of response, and you have to look for the result object, and inside it you will find an ID field. That number is your chat ID, so you have to copy that too. Back in n8n, let's start building. The first thing we need to do is to add an RSS feed trigger, this one. Let's say we want to run it every 15 minutes. In the URL field, you are going to enter the RSS feed URL. Okay, for the Hacker News, I'm gonna paste it down, and you can add pretty much every feed you want. There we go. Mine is this one, feeds burner, the Hacker News. So I'm gonna fetch test event to see if it, yeah. So you can see that it successfully brought the article, the last article. Okay, now that we have the RSS feed trigger set up, we have to add the Telegram node. Telegram, and you have to select, let me find it, send a text message. In every case, just as we did before with other workflows, or even this one, is to create new credential. So mine is demo bot, because that's the one I already created a few days back, but you will have to create a new credential. And there we go. You have two inputs, the access token and the base URL. And basically the access token is what Botfather gave you earlier. So you just have to copy paste it inside access token. Save it, connection tested successfully, and then you are connected to Telegram. So you have to set the resource to message, the operation to send message, and the chat ID you copied before inside the chat ID field. Now for the text, we are gonna use a certain format. So we are going, no, not this one. We are going to pass this into an expression. Click that button to have a bigger window. And then we are gonna write our template. So we are going to say new security news. Up. And then we are gonna say title, space, then publication date, then we are gonna say link, we want the link, and the content. Well, don't need the content title, we're just gonna paste the content inside. So we are gonna just drag and drop, as we did before, the title inside the title, the link inside the link, and the publication date inside the publication date. Also, we need the content. The content is going to be pasted here. And you can see in the output square, in the result square, you can see everything that's going to appear in Telegram for us. And one more thing, you have to scroll down also to additional fields and append n8n attribution, deactivate it to remove the attribution, the n8n attribution that we saw before. You can also add parse mode, okay, and set it to Markdown v2, and this makes sure your formatting looks good in Telegram. So we are going to execute the step. Okay, so instead of get me inside the URL, it's get updates. Actually, I did try get updates before telling you to write get me, but it's my fault. It takes time apparently for the message to be understood by the API. So get updates didn't return me anything. So okay, it was curly braces but empty inside. And now you can see that inside the curly braces, just right there, there is a whole bunch of informations. So yeah, the ID is right there. And what I did before was writing get me. I was told that the ID was there, but I didn't read everything, so I didn't see the first name was Hacker News bot. So that's why I had an error telling me that Telegram can't use a bot to send a message to another bot. That's actually, yeah, understandable. So what I did is just change the URL from get me to get updates with, of course, your token, your API token. That didn't change, only the end of the URL, and press enter. And yeah, the ID is not the update ID, okay? It's the ID just right there from the chat. Okay, from the chat ID. You have to see the chat object and go to the ID and just copy this one and paste it inside n8n. And if I go there and execute the step, there we go. And then we are back in Telegram, and you can see that the security news just appeared in the chat, and everything's working well. Everything is nicely formatted, and that's it. So of course, as I said before, if you want this workflow to work and be automatic, you have to activate it, and it will run automatically every 15 minutes or whatever time frame you set. Alright, so we've built 3 powerful workflows today. Now, I know at the beginning of the video I said we would make 5 workflows, including Twitter likes to Notion and a daily weather email. Let me explain why I decided to stop there. As I was filming the Twitter workflow, I realized something important. That workflow is significantly more complex than I thought, and it's significantly more complex than the 3 others. It involves Twitter developer portal, understanding the difference between OAuth 1 and OAuth 2, dealing also with API rate limits, setting up Notion integrations, and troubleshooting several potential errors. For a beginner-friendly tutorial, it would have made this video way too long and honestly pretty overwhelming. I want you to actually succeed with these workflows, not feel frustrated and give up halfway through. So the 3 workflows we built today are pretty practical, useful, and most importantly, they teach you the core concepts of n8n, okay? Triggers, actions, authentications, and data mapping. Once you are comfortable with those patterns, you will be ready to tackle more complex workflows. So here's what I'm going to do, okay? I will dedicate a video especially for the workflow involving Twitter likes to Notion. By doing this, I can actually take the time to explain to you every detail properly. Same thing for the weather email workflow. That way, beginners can master the basics today, and when you are ready for more advanced stuff, those videos will be waiting for you. Anyway, thanks for watching and keep automating.